So if you watch the channel for a while, you know that Daddy occasionally likes to put down a jelly bean or two on the outcome of games, and it's very funny. So for a long time, the NFL and their stance on sports betting was like, nope. Nope, 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 nope. People watch Bengals Jets on a Thursday night because of love of the game, not because of gambling interest. And that's the whole thing where everyone knows it's true, but one of the reasons why sports are so popular is the gambling aspect. And it truly is the golden age for sports betting. You have books open up all over the place, brick and mortar in casinos, as well as apps. A number of states are opting in. Minnesota, not so much. But also, it really is the golden age because leagues are getting into bed with betting sites, whether it's FanDuel, DraftKings, Caesars, MGM, all that stuff. And the NFL is certainly no different as they've really gone all in on bringing in those gambling sponsored dollars. But they have to... They've been very strict and very draconian about being above board when it comes to gambling with their players, with coaches, etc. And they suspended Calvin Ridley for the entire 2022 season back when he was on the Falcons. Back in the day. He was injured. He was betting on games, some including the Falcons. But yeah, so I fully understand that why they made him an example, because the NFL doesn't even want a hint of impropriety. Like, even if players weren't betting on NFL games, like a number of the Lions players who were hit with major suspensions this year, some suspended for the full year, some like Jameson Williams suspended only 6 games, they just don't even want the specter of impropriety. So even if you're betting on NBA or NHL or whatever, they're still going to hit you, especially since a couple of these Lions players are betting from the facility, which is just... Well, first off, if you're going to bet, have an intermediary, right? So have grandma open up an account, or a cousin or whoever. Someone else open an account. If you want to wager, just keep it. First off, don't use your real name, and don't use your own phone to make the bets, and also don't use your own phone with your own name to make bets from the team facility. I mean, it shouldn't be this difficult, but apparently it is, right? And maybe the league hasn't been crystal clear in enunciating what's expected of them, but so I fully understand it. And one of the best things about sports is having just a little bit. Like, yes, people have problems with it for sure, but just a little sweat. Like, what's $20 on a game? Not a big deal. That's what a lot of these players are doing too. Of course, sometimes it's a little bit more than the $20, but someone who was apparently not betting more than $20. So Colts 6th-round pick Isaiah Rodgers in 2020 has been the focal point of an investigation in another betting situation. So NFL investigating Colts Isaiah Rodgers for possible betting. The NFL is investigating Rodgers, cornerback kick returner, for possible violations of the league's gambling policy. The team acknowledged the inquiry Monday, staying in a statement without naming Rodgers. We are aware of the NFL's investigation, and we'll have no further comment of this time. And then Rodgers addressed the situation and taking full responsibility for it. So... and it was kind of fun for half the day, where it was reported that it was a known Colt, but not a superstar, but a known Colt to the average fan. And so everyone was all conspiracy trying to figure out who it was. But then it goes on. Rodgers 6th-round pick in the final year of his 4-year, $3.4 million contract. Probably not going to be playing this year. The sportsbook account was opened under the name of an associate of Rodgers, sources said. Well, no. All right, so never mind. Maybe my advice is out the window. Approximately 100 bets were placed on the account over an undisclosed amount of time, probably from an undisclosed location, including on Colts games, the sources said. Most of the bets were in the $25 to $50 range, although there was at least one low 4-figure bet. Now, does this really move the needle? I mean, there's people who aren't in the NFL, people who don't make millions a year in playing professional football, who bet a lot more than this, right? And one low 4-figure bet, like, all right, so you bet $2,000 on whatever. Does that really make a huge difference? Probably not. But the problem is betting on the Colts games, right? And Rodgers has played pretty solid over the 3 seasons. Coming out of UMass in 2020, has played 1,015 defensive snaps over 45 games, 9 starts last season, 81.5 coverage grade last year, 3 interceptions, 10 passes broken up. So he's really solid. So he's been a good player, right? And the only problem is, so first off, I have no problem if a player wants to bet on his team to win. I feel like they should find a way for that to be allowed, right? Because you play to win the game. And also, guess what? If your team wins, you can make a little extra something, sure. But the problem is where it gets dicey is potentially betting on your team to lose, right? And that's where the slippery slope is, and that's where the league wants a firm line of demarcation, because they can't have any hint of impropriety, any hint that the games may be fixed, or any hint that there may be nefarious forces at work. Because say a star player, and like I said, Rodgers not a star but very solid player, a starter for sure, and a cornerback for sure. Say that he bet against the Colts, or he bet for the Colts to lose or the Colts not to cover. Not that the Colts were ever favorites at any point last year, but I mean, giving up a big play here or there, losing your footing, making it look like a slip, and your guy goes for a 80-yard touchdown in the waning seconds and whatever. There's just too much there. Just like even the hint that something like that could go on, the league can't have that. So I understand the stance on it, but like I said, I have no problem betting on your team to win. Sort of like Pete Rose with the Reds when he was manager. Generally, he was betting on his team to win. I don't really have a problem with that. I don't foresee a problem with that. But the problem is when you bet on, hey, maybe our team is favored by 4. We bet the other team. We're up by 10. I'm going to let this touchdown go in, and then we still win, but we only win by 3, and I win my bet. And that's, of course, going down a rabbit hole, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. As well as, obviously, I mean, he was betting a casual amount, even though, yes, he still broke the rules, even though he's going through an associate, which I mistakenly just like, hey, they won't catch you. I'm just kidding, they got you. If players were betting a lot more, of course, ironically, it's the Colts, because going back to Art Schlichter back in the day, and if a player gets in deep with the wrong kind of people or the wrong kind of associates, then it could get super dicey. Then it's all of a sudden, hey, if it's a star player, hey, maybe you don't play so good this game, even though you're heavily favored. Maybe I'll take the other team in the money line. Right. Also, I really hope so. Rodgers, I mean, he's on a 6th-round rookie contract, played 3 years. The 4th year for day 3 picks is usually where they get some money. I hope that he was not betting on the Colts to win, because he would not have made a lot of money last year. And he's probably going to need it, because I think he's going to get schwacked. I fully think that the league is going to make an example out of him. I think that they'll at least suspend him for a full season, because this is even different than Calvin Ridley, because Ridley, yes, was betting on his team, but he wasn't involved in those games. Rodgers was allegedly betting on Colts games where he was involved. Also, I don't think that he's alone. And I think that there's a lot of very nervous players right now, because maybe the rules were a little bit murky, or maybe it's just like, whatever, laissez-faire. But the league is really going after players, and they're tracking through apps or tracking through player logs with the sports books and casinos. So we'll see what happens, man. But I do feel bad for Rodgers, because this does seem like super casual. But again, I mean, the rules are the rules, and I don't know, man. I just don't know. Who knows? But your thoughts are on thoughts. NFL reportedly investigating Colts cornerback Isaiah Rodgers for possible betting. Let us know your thoughts and our thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But until next time, Skol Production Value.